So let's mark the quiz. Here we go. Oh, I have to introduce you to my all-time favorite student. She gets everything right. It's amazing. Christina, can you read to me the name of that favorite student there, please? What? Oh. Some of you figured it out. Some of you have not. Okay, here we go. Suppose I invest $5,000. So on the first day, folks, I need you to be quiet now. Shh. On the first day, we started with simple interest. We said, actually, simple interest is calculated by interest equals PRT. In fact, I remember it as I equals PERT, but no E in there. There's a PRT where P is the principal, R is the rate, T is the time. So if I want to find out how much interest, it's going to be principal times the rate as a decimal, 0.055, times 10 years, 5,000 times 0.055 times 10 years. I'm going to earn, holy smokes, $2,750 worth of interest. 1 mark. And again, Ellen, the key thing is here, and this is what I've been trying to show you guys, distinguish whether it's simple or compound. That's why I've always underlined that word so I don't accidentally calculate it the wrong way. I think your graphing calculator has a simple interest calculator, but I've never bothered figuring it out because the amount of time it took me to go into that menu and enter stuff was longer than just using the equation there because there's no exponents and junk, so it's pretty quick. What will the future value be? Well, future value, which we're sort of calling FV on the calculators, or amount in our notation, is going to be what I started with plus what I earned. And I'm going to be bold and do this in my head. I think it's that, yes? 1 mark. Now, I'm not fussy in how you show your work or anything like that for the most part. There will be a few times when I will be, but most of the time I'm going to say no. Generally, Jordan, if you get it right, you get full marks. If you get it wrong, then I go hunting for certain things. So if you're someone who does not show their work and you get it wrong, you're taking the gamble, you're going to get a 0. I won't give you any part marks. That's really why you're showing work, is so I can follow your line of thinking. Simple interest. Looks like they want me to find that. So I have I equals PRT, uppercase or lowercase. I think it's a lowercase if I really write it, but I'm not that fussy. I'll do that, though, so my T's match. I want to get the T by itself. Now, you can plug in numbers if you want to, Silke, and then divide it, but I'm a physics nerd. I try and rewrite formulas. So, Brooke, we're going to have a little deja vu. You see the letter T on the right-hand side? Say yes. Yeah. What 2 letters do you see in front of it? PR. What are they doing mathematically to the T? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? So how would I move both the P and the R over? Divide. You are correct. If I hear you correctly, and I think I do, I have a whole new equation. I'm not going to memorize it because I can derive it. I think you're saying that the time is the interest divided by both the principal and the rate as a decimal. I think what you're saying is it's going to be the interest divided by the principal and the rate as a decimal, 0.204. Foster, how many numbers are in the bottom of this fraction? Say 2. I better put the bottom in brackets. If I'm going to go to my calculator, it's going to look like this. $27.56 divided by bracket 450 times 0.0204, close bracket. Or you could go divided by and divided by both of them. But I like what I write on my calculator to look somewhat similar to what I wrote in my notes. So I think that's what I did. And you get... how many years is that supposed to be? What did I start out with when I made up this question? Is the answer 3.002178649? How many years is that supposed to be? Because I had to round off in making this. What did I start out with when I made up this question? How many years? 3. 3. I started with 3. It's just that when I rounded off the interest, because the interest was not exactly $27.56. It was 27.56, blah, 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 but we're rounding off to 2 decimal places. So when you go backwards, you can't quite recreate the question. Anyways, 3 years, if you said 3.0 or 3.002, or if you were a glutton for punishment, you said it was 3.002178649. I'm not going to freak out. Oh, I did underline simple. Good. Brad and Catherine deposited in 2 separate accounts. Looks like they want me to do 2 questions. I would probably draw a little line down the middle. Catherine's is compound. Brad's is simple. Now, the simple interest, he is getting a higher rate. But the compound interest, they'll be calculating it more often. Who will win? Let's find out. Compound interest, final amount equals P bracket 1 plus little I to the n. Compound interest is going to be $5,000, 1 plus 0.0487 divided by, how is this being compounded? Annually, which means I divide it by what? By 1. Erica, will that make a difference at all? Then, do you mind? I'm just going to get rid of the divided by. It's a waste of my writing. To the power of 20? 20, yes? 5,000, bracket 1 plus 0.0487, close bracket, to the power of 20. Looks like I'm going to get $12,941.82. 12,941.82. 12,941.82. That gets you 1 mark out of 2. Now let's do Brad. We'll change colors for Brad just so it stands out a bit. Now this is simple interest. It's going to be I equals PRT. The interest is going to be 5,000 times the rate, 0.055, times the time, 5,000 times the rate, 0.055, times the time, and even $5,500. That gets you that gets you a half mark, but the final amount, or the future value, is going to be the original plus the interest. So for the extra half mark, you need to tell me that Brad is going to have $10,550. Okay, so 1 mark, a half mark, a half mark for 2. Is that okay? And you'll notice it doesn't take that long. Compound interest, if it's any kind of a long-term investment, even if your return is lower, if it's compounded, that's better than the simple interest with a higher rate. Usually, although you can crunch the numbers and double check, Justin. Number 4, suppose I invested $1,000 in a GIC. Does anybody remember what a GIC stood for? Guaranteed investment certificate. This is you can't lose your money. If you can't lose your money, is that any kind of a risk? No. You'll have a low rate of return. If you can lose those of you that start investing, the higher your risk, the higher your rate of return, but also the higher likelihood you might get nothing or lose money. Here, you're guaranteed not to lose money. Okay. So a guaranteed investment compound annually for number 1. So I'm going to use A equals P bracket 1 plus little I to the n. In number 4A, it's going to be A equals 1,000. 1 plus 0.05 divided by 1 to the power of 10 times 1. Erica's saying, hey, Mr. Dueck, last time you didn't bother writing the divided by 1. Why'd you do it this time? I'm hoping I can type this into my calculator once and then just backspace and edit and change the numbers and not have to retype the whole thing, because I work that way. I'm kind of lazy that way. So I think I'm going to go like this. 1,000 bracket 1 plus 0.05 divided by 1 close bracket, to the power of, now I've got to put the exponent in brackets if I'm going to multiply stuff, because how many numbers are there in my exponent when I've written here, Foster? 2 brackets. I'm going to go 10 times 1. Do you get 16, 28, 89?
Yeah.
Semi-annually. Same thing, same thing, same thing, divided by 2, same thing, times 2, or it's a 20. Psst. Give him an elbow, tell him he can go. He served his penance. You can go, sir. I don't care, you can go. I'll make you cry next time, though, so help me. And don't think I can't. Do you get 16, 38, 60, 61, or 62? 62. Round off properly. If you round it off wrong, half mark off. Oh, I lost my whole class. Everyone's just staring at the student that's leaving. Hello. Look behind you, Connor. Look behind you. That's an attention span. You might want to grab it and come back here. Okay, here we go. 16, 38, 62. You walked into that one, yeah. 1 mark, 1 mark. Is there a part C? Oh, yeah! I knew what I was doing with my little trick of setting this up on my calculator so I don't have to retype everything. Woohoo! Rachel's going, I didn't think of that. I retype this every single time. That's because I'm a graduate. Just saying. What was my 1,000? 1 plus 0.05 divided by 4. 10 times 4. This is the way we change the question. Delete, make that a 4. Delete, make that a 4. Do you get 1643, 62? One mark. Can I what? I'm just moving on, but if you have a question, you'll get my attention and actually ask it. See, when you just say, can you, there's a lot of ways I can answer that question. Can I? I can some things. That's going to be a 12 because it's monthly, and that's going to be a 12 because it's monthly. Do you get 1647.01? Daily. Oh, too far. 365. 365. Do you get 1648.66? Brooke, can you? Oh, sorry. Is that all right? 1 mark each. Couple more. All right. What I've said to you is in both of the equations that we've used so far this year, simple interest and compound interest, it's fair game to ask you to find any of the variables if I give you all the other ones. Oh, and now finding n, which we couldn't do last day except by guessing and checking. Erica, now that I've showed you the graphing calculator, okay, that's now fair game too, because it'll do that for you, yes? All right, what are they asking me to find here? How much? I think they're asking me to find the principal. There's my compound interest equation. Jordan, I'm a bit of a physics nerd, although I could start sticking numbers in right away. I like to try and get what I'm trying to find by itself first. What am I trying to find in this question, Jordan, my friend?
The amount.
Which one is that?
A.
Read the question out loud, please.
P.
Ah! How would I get the p by itself, my friend?
Divide the one.
The bracket
Yeah, the bracket.
and the exponent. Yep.
Yeah.
So if I hear you correctly, and I think I do, you're saying the principal is going to be what you end up with divided by 1 plus little I to the n. It's going to be $10,000, I wish, divided by 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 monthly to the 36. I did the 3 times 12 in my head. I hope I didn't lose you there. Some of you maybe. 10,000 divided by bracket 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 to the power of 36. Do you all get that you started out with $8,356.45? Is that right? Oh, the sir is a nice touch. Unnecessary, but never hurts. 8356.45. B. How much does she invest if the compounding period is semi-annually? Same question, except it's going to be divided by 2 and to the power of 6. I can do that. In fact, I think I can do that by deleting the 3 and deleting the 1. Huh? You get $8,374.84. 837484. Is that right? People nodding? 8374.84. 1 mark. I think the 2 toughest questions are number 6 and number 7. Okay? That's why they're 2 marks. If you get the right answer, you'll get 2 out of 2. If you don't, I'll show you where I would give you part marks. It looks like they're asking me to find the annual interest rate. Unfortunately, Jordan, my trick of getting stuff by itself fails me because the I is inside the bracket with an exponent. There's no easy mathematical way to get it by itself. I have to plug in numbers. So I have a final amount of $625, an initial amount of $400, 1 plus what? Well, it's really the interest rate divided by 12. And you'll notice I didn't use the letter I because in our formula, the letter I was when we did divide. We actually said R was the rate and we had to do the adjustment. I want to find the interest rate. To the power of 120, 10 years, 12 months. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go divide by 400, divide by 400. When I do that, I'm going to get 1.5. I'm going to get 1.5 equals 1 plus R over 12 to the 120. The problem is that 120. And again, here's how, if you blank on what to do, here's how I think this through, Kyla, every time. Don't write this down. I say to myself, if I had this, how would I get rid of a squared to get the x by itself? Square root. If I had this, how would I get rid of a cube to get the x by itself? Cube root. If I had this, how will I get rid of the 120 to get the x by? You're going to do the 120th root, and this is why you have calculators. Really, the main reason scientific or graphing or any calculators were invented was dealing with roots and exponents, because there are no shortcuts for that aside from using slide rules and logarithms. So, I'm going to take the 120th root of 1.5, and when I do that, that'll get rid of the exponent on the other side. I'm going to take the 120th root of 1.5. And I get that thing. I'm going to write 1.00338, but I'm going to keep this on my calculator because it goes on for a long time and I want to be accurate. So 1.00338 equals 1 plus r over 12. How could I get the r over 12 by itself? Subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to give me 0.0038 equals r over 12. So you're saying I could subtract 1? 338. I missed a 3. Thank you. Was that what you were going to say too, Tiff?
No. In the very beginning, for this final amount, you only put 600 in your calculator.
Did I? Ah! My numbers are wrong earlier. Tiffany, candy for you for spotting my mistake. The rest of you are freaking out going, my numbers are different. So it's not a 1.5. Is it a 1.5625? That's going to change everything, Mr. Dueck. Good gosh. And you recorded this for internet posterity. Shame on me. Shame on me. Stop clicking the pen before I freak out. 1.5625. 1.5625. 1.5625. 120th root of 1.5625. I guess I could have used my answer button for that matter. Do you get 1.00372598 that?
Couldn't you put a negative 1 in
Sorry?
Couldn't you just move the 1 over to 4?
Nope. I'll show you why in a second. Okay? Give me a second, though. 1.0037. Now I'm going to minus 1 from both sides. And I get an answer in scientific notation. I think we fixed that on your calculators. But this is 0.0037 equals r over 12. Now what? Got to times by 12 to go find the original rate. So r is going to be this number times 12. Please give me something half decent. Ah, I did it backwards, Mr. Dueck. Shoot. And I got to walk through all this again. 120. Yeah, hang on. I know. 1. Was that someone's phone that I heard there? I thought I heard a phone there for a second. Okay, I do that. I go minus 1. And then I go times by 12. You get 0.0447. That's what you should get, I believe. So let me write that down first of all. Or 4.47%. If you have that, that gets you 2 out of 2. Otherwise, listen close. I would give you a half mark for showing all the numbers. I would give you, just give me one moment, kind sir. Okay. I would give you a half mark if I saw that. Well, I would definitely give you a half mark for the final answer. That's 1 mark. I would probably give you a half mark if I saw that you had divided by 400. And then I would give you a half mark if somewhere along the way you'd done the 120th root. To me, those are the key steps. Some of you folks asked about why you can't subtract from... First of all, you didn't get the same answer as me, I don't think. Okay?
4.46.
So you didn't get the same answer as me. No. Some of them asked, why can't I subtract from 1 and then do the root thing? I'll show you a better answer with smaller numbers why it doesn't work. Ellen?
I subtracted by 1 and then times the answer by 12.
Yeah, that's what I did. But some people were asking, why can't you subtract from 1 first and then do the 120th root?
No, I meant
Oh.
like put the negative 1 in the...
You know, like when you did the
Like you
120s,
did
whatever.
Yeah.
I did minus 1 there. So I did like 120 square root 1.5.
The 100. Oh, you went like this. The 120th root of bracket 1 point what? Geez.
562.
That'll work as long as you put that whole thing in brackets. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to argue. don't take this wrong, but can we please subtract 1 in our heads? Please? I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to. But can we decide that maybe in grade 12, subtracting 1 from a number in our heads is always doable? Maybe. I'm just saying. Okay, you don't have to. You can. Your method's fine. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying subtract 1 and then do the root, and that you can't do because you're violating BEDMAS. Okay. Then I stand corrected. Last one. I'm going to do the guess and check method first, and then I'll show you the exact, hey, we can use technology method. And I don't care which one you used, you'll get full marks for both in this question because I didn't specifically tell you how I wanted you to solve it. The guess and check method would be like this. Shh, quiet please. To the, well, to the N. Cole, is that why I've been telling you to underline those two things whenever possible? Which you can't do in the textbook, I realize, but I tend to underline. It just jogs my memory. It's some of the best bang for your buck avoiding silly mistakes that you can ever do, because it takes, what, half a second, maybe? But the odds are then your brain has said, oh, I noticed it. At least most of our brains. Yeah. Yep, go ahead. The homework is going to be the assignment from yesterday that I didn't actually get to. I might modify it, so just check the video lesson online at the very end, okay? Good luck. Loaf, loaf. Colin, what would I do now? And I'm going to go 1,000 divided by 250 in my head. Woohoo! Thank you. Can't subtract 1, but boy, he can divide. And I'm going to divide the 0.06 by 2 in my head. That's going to be a 0.03. In fact, Colin, I'm going to argue that this right here is 1.03. And all I'm going to start to do now is guess and check. I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to go, okay, 1.03 to the power of, my first guess is usually 10. I got to go way bigger to get 4. And I was so low, I'm going to, instead of going to 20, I'm going to jump up, I'm going to try 40. Whoop, 400, that's a bit much. Still not enough. How about 60? Too much. How about 50? Little too much. How about 48? Yeah. 47. 46. Okay. N equals 46, not quite enough. N equals 47, a little more than you need, but you couldn't withdraw before then. So by guessing and checking, by guess and check, which, by the way, is what that strategy is called, and it's a tried and true, very legitimate strategy, and especially if you've got calculators that you can just backspace and edit on, it's pretty quick. N equals 47, except that's N. That's not how many years. Cole, how is this being compounded? Semi-annually. So what will I do with this number to convert it back to years? And Colin, I'm going to choose to divide 47 by 2 in my head. Looks like you have around 23.5 years. If you have that, that gets you 2 out of 2. Yes? I'm about to do that. So, meanwhile, you ready? If you have that, you get 2 out of 2. But, as I was going to get there before you got your hand up, if you did it on your calculator, here's what I would look for. I'm just going to do it down here. Okay? I would need you to list what you've typed in. So when you did that, you would go like this. Dunk, dunk. Compound interest, you would go N equals don't know. I percent equals, what was it? 6? PV equals What are we starting out with? 200, was it 250?
Yeah.
Payment is 0. We're not doing multiple payments on this stage. Final value is 1,000. And then I think is it compound periods per year? Periods per year. I think you got to put a 1 there. You're not doing any payments per year. You're not doing any, but you got to put a 1 there. I think we found last day. And compound periods per year, put a 2. And then if you did that, what did you get exactly? I would still expect you to convert that to years, though, so you still divided it by 2, and you would probably get 23.45. The only issue with that is you can't leave it in for 23.45. Hey, by the way, I did that in my head correctly to 2 decimal places. I'm just saying. The only issue with that is you can't withdraw at 0.45 years. I would argue you technically should round to 23.5 years. Did you? Woohoo! Then yeah, 2 out of 2. Okay. Can you please be so kind as to give yourself a score at the very top out of 16? If you need to come lawyer with me, now is the time. So last day we learned how to use our graphing calculators, at least in theory. So what's our homework going to be? Let me see. I assigned stuff from... I got to look at these questions. Shh. Hey, folks. Lots of chatting. Please stop. Thank you. I think, let's see, I'm going to, because I want you to get practice on this, and the big issue is kids on the test forget how to do this stuff, I'm going to make this fairly repetitious, but it won't take that long. I'm going to say from page 55, you can do number 1, number 2, number 3, I think 5 is good, saving for a car. 6 is good. It looks like in number 6 they're asking you to solve for the monthly payment required to pull this off, which is actually the most useful out of everything, because most of the time you're wondering, well, how much am I going to pay per month? That's how we budget, generally. Gonna skip 7. 9 is good. He already has, thanks. 10 is good. $12 is good. Vesting, nah. Oh. I have to assign number 15 because it's about buying a sailboat, and that's my dream someday. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 12, 15. You got 35 minutes. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions. If you do the math, that works out to about 4 minutes a question, which I think will actually be pretty good. Oh yeah, and Colin, I did the math in my head there. Just saying.